It was a sun-drenched afternoon in the heart of Los Angeles, where luxury cars purred like panthers outside an upscale hotel, and valets stood ready to cater to the city's elite. Bentleys, Lamborghinis, and sleek black Teslas were the norm here. But when an old weathered motorcycle rolled up to the front entrance, its rider wearing a faded leather jacket and a calm, almost monk-like demeanor, the atmosphere shifted. Laughter bubbled from a young valet, sharp and condescending, unaware that he had just mocked a man the world revered, a man who owned not only the spotlight, but also a piece of history in that very two-wheeled machine. What followed next was a lesson in humility, respect, and the astonishing quiet power of kindness. This is the story of a rude valet, an old motorcycle, and Keanu Reeves. Chapter 1. The Hotel of the Elite. The Beverly Arcadia Hotel wasn't just any luxury destination. It was the place where movie stars mingled with moguls and billionaires brokered deals over champagne brunches. Valets at the Arcadia prided themselves on speed, etiquette, and the unspoken pecking order of vehicles. Exotic supercars received top spots. Guests in economy sedans politely directed to self-parking. On this particular Saturday, the air buzzed with anticipation. Word had spread that a major Hollywood producer was hosting a private brunch in the penthouse. Celebrities were expected to attend. The valets, led by 21-year-old Jason, were on high alert. Jason had been working at the Arcadia for almost a year. Cocky and charming, he saw himself as a future star. Not behind the wheel, but on the silver screen. For now, though, he sneered at anyone who didn't look the part. And that's when the motorcycle pulled up. Chapter 2. The Arrival. The motorcycle rumbled into the circular driveway with a sound that contrasted sharply with the hushed elegance of the setting. It was old, a vintage Norton Commando, dusty yet well-maintained. The man riding it wore a black helmet and jeans. There was no entourage, no designer gear, no attempt to impress. Jason's eyebrows rose in disbelief. "What is that supposed to be?" he muttered to his colleague. Several guests glanced over curiously, but no one recognized the figure at first. Jason stepped forward, trying to stifle a smirk. "You lost, man. Starbucks is 2 blocks down," he said with a snort. The rider removed his helmet, revealing a face lined with experience and yet strikingly familiar, shaggy hair, gentle eyes, and an unmistakable presence. Keanu Reeves. But Jason didn't recognize him. Not yet. Chapter 3. A Quiet Legend. Keanu simply smiled. "I have a reservation," he said, handing the valet a parking ticket. Jason looked him up and down, scoffing. "Yeah? And you rode this here?" He gestured at the bike like it was a rusted tricycle. "You know where you are, right?" The other valet, Omar, stepped in nervously. "Jason, maybe cool it." But Jason wasn't done. "Seriously, man, next time maybe Uber, a ride that doesn't look like it came from a junkyard." Keanu just nodded, unmoved. "Thank you." He handed over the keys and began walking toward the entrance. Still unaware of who he was talking to, Jason laughed again, this time louder. "You might want to leave your helmet. Not sure it matches the dress code in there." And then someone else recognized him. Chapter 4. Recognition and Regret. A sleek black SUV pulled up behind the motorcycle. The door opened and out stepped Sandra Bullock. She glanced at the valet team, then at Keanu. Her face lit up. "Keanu!" she called out, walking over with open arms. Jason's smirk dropped. Keanu turned, smiling warmly. "Sandra, good to see you." They embraced briefly. The other guests started whispering, phones coming out to capture the moment. Jason's face turned a shade paler. "Wait, that's Keanu Reeves?" he asked Omar in a daze. Omar nodded. "Yep. One of the nicest guys in Hollywood. also rides motorcycles. A lot. Jason's heart sank. Chapter 5. The Legacy of the Motorcycle. Inside the hotel, conversations sparked about Keanu's bike. Turns out that old Norton wasn't just any motorcycle, it was a collector's gem. And Keanu? He wasn't just a rider. He was the founder of Arch Motorcycle, a bespoke motorcycle company known for crafting some of the finest custom bikes in the world. As Keanu and Sandra chatted near the elevator, more guests gathered around. Even the hotel manager came down to greet him personally. Meanwhile, Jason stood outside, shifting awkwardly on his feet. The bike now looked different to him, revered, almost sacred. How had he missed all the signs? Chapter 6. The Manager's Words. Later that afternoon, Jason was summoned to the manager's office. Mr. Lancaster, a stern man with a reputation for elegance and precision, had reviewed the valet's behavior. "I understand there was an incident this morning," he said, folding his hands on the desk. Jason hesitated. "I didn't know who he was, sir." "That's not the point," Lancaster replied calmly. "You don't need to know someone's identity to show respect, especially not here." Jason looked down. "Yes, sir." "I'm putting you on warning," Lancaster continued. "One more outburst like that and you're done." Jason nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. Chapter 7. A Lesson in Humility. After his shift ended, Jason sat on the curb beside the valet stand, staring at his phone. He pulled up articles, interviews, and videos about Keanu Reeves. He saw clips of Keanu giving up his seat on the subway, quietly donating to children's hospitals, and performing many acts of generosity without fanfare. Jason's ego shrank with every scroll. Why had he judged the man by a motorcycle? Why had he assumed wealth came in only one form? He watched an interview where Keanu described riding as meditation on two wheels. The more he learned, the more he realized how wrong he'd been. Chapter 8. The Return. The following weekend, Jason hoped he wouldn't have to face Keanu again. But fate had other plans. The vintage motorcycle returned, parking smoothly at the front of the hotel. Jason rushed forward, nervous but determined. I wanted to apologize," he said, handing back the helmet. Keanu looked at him, eyes calm. "For what?" "For what I said last week. About your bike. About you." Keanu nodded slowly. "Appreciated." Then, with a small smile, he added, "You ever ride?" "Motorcycles," Keanu said. "You ever been on one?" Jason shook his head. "No, sir." "You should try it sometime. Teaches you balance." With that, Keanu walked inside. Chapter 9. An Unexpected Invitation. The next day, Jason received a message through the hotel front desk. It was an invitation, a private tour of Arch Motorcycle. Jason stared at the message, stunned. "Why me?" he whispered. Omar, peeking over his shoulder, grinned. "Maybe he sees something in you, or maybe he just believes in second chances." Chapter 10. The Arch Factory. Jason arrived at a modest building on the outskirts of L.A., the letters ARCH gleaming in the afternoon sun. Inside, machines hummed and polished metal gleamed under soft lights. Every motorcycle looked like a piece of art. For the next hour, Jason followed Keanu through every station, design, machining, assembly. Each worker respected Keanu not just as a co-founder, but as a fellow builder. He shook hands, asked questions, and listened. As they stood beside a finished bike, Keanu asked, "What do you see now?" Jason smiled. "More than just a machine." Chapter 11. A Ride to Remember. Before Jason could leave the Arch facility, Keanu tossed him a helmet. "Ever ride as a passenger?" Jason blinked. "Now?" Keanu nodded. "Best way to learn respect is to feel the road." Nervously, Jason climbed onto the back of a different motorcycle, sleeker, custom-built. The engine roared and they took off down the road. With every twist of the throttle, Jason felt the hum of power, control, and freedom. The wind wasn't just rushing past his face, it was washing away arrogance, clearing his head like a reset button for his soul. Chapter 12. The Roadside Conversation. Half an hour later, they pulled off at a scenic overlook, the city sprawling below them. Keanu removed his helmet and sat on the edge of a boulder. Jason joined him. "I didn't grow up with this," Jason admitted. "Any of this. I always thought success looked like suits and supercars." Keanu chuckled. "You're not wrong. Some people chase that. But the real success? It's in being grounded, knowing who you are, no matter what you're riding." Jason nodded, the words sinking in deeper than he expected. Chapter 13. Back at the hotel, word of Jason's ride with Keanu spread quickly through the staff at the Arcadia. Omar gave him a proud fist bump. Even Mr. Lancaster cracked a rare approving nod, but Jason wasn't after applause anymore. He began to change. Small things at first, polishing every guest's car, regardless of make or model. Greeting people with genuine warmth, taking pride in his work. The other valets noticed. So did the guests. Chapter 14. A New Reputation. 3 weeks passed. Jason was now known as the valet with heart. He'd earned more tips in the last few days than the previous 2 months combined. But more than money, he felt dignity in what he did. Then, one morning, a familiar rumble echoed into the driveway. Keanu was back. This time, Jason greeted him with a wide, respectful smile. "Welcome back, Mr. Reeves." Keanu grinned. "It's Jason now, huh?" Jason laughed, learning from the best. Chapter 15. The Promotion. Later that week, Mr. Lancaster pulled Jason aside. "I've been watching you. You've grown. That doesn't go unnoticed." Jason's heart pounded. "I want to make you lead valet. You'll train the others. Set the tone." Jason was speechless. "Thank you, sir. I won't let you down." Lancaster nodded. "See that you don't." As Jason walked out of the office, a new weight settled on his shoulders. Not a burden, but a badge of purpose. Chapter 16. The Investor's Arrival. A few days into his new role, a discreet black car arrived. Nothing flashy, but something about the passenger caught everyone's attention. It was Alan Templeton, a billionaire venture capitalist with an eye for character. Jason handled his arrival smoothly, treating him with the same calm dignity he now showed to everyone. Templeton noticed. "You new here?" he asked. "Just promoted," Jason replied. Templeton nodded. "That's so. I can tell." The compliment stayed with Jason long after Templeton entered the hotel. Chapter 17. A Chance Encounter. As fate would have it, Templeton wasn't just staying at the Arcadia. He was there to meet Keanu. They were collaborating on a youth mentorship program focused on discipline, mechanics, and creative problem-solving. When Keanu saw Jason again, he waved him over. "Alan, this is Jason. Remember the name." Jason shook hands with Templeton, surprised by the introduction. Jason blinked. "Me?" Keanu smiled. Who better to teach respect than someone who learned it the hard way? Chapter 18. The Arcadia Workshop. With Templeton's support, the Arcadia Hotel hosted its first Respect and Ride event, an outreach program where youth from underprivileged neighborhoods could meet professionals, learn about motorcycles, and explore trades that blended art and science. Jason led tours, gave basic lessons in valet protocol, and even did a demonstration on how to handle luxury vehicles and treat every customer equally. He was no longer the brash kid who mocked old bikes. He was now the example. Chapter 19. A Letter from Keanu. On a quiet evening after the event, Jason found a handwritten letter waiting for him at the valet podium. Jason, most people change because they have to. You changed because you wanted to. That's rare. P.S. When you're ready for your first bike, you know where to find me. K. Jason folded the note carefully, placing it in his wallet, not as a souvenir, as a promise. Chapter 20. Full Circle. Months later, a new face joined the valet team, a young kid named Marcus, a little too cocky, a little too eager to judge. Jason saw a reflection of himself. He pulled Marcus aside gently after a long shift. "Wanna grab coffee?" They sat, and Jason told him the whole story, the motorcycle, the laughter, the lesson. By the end, Marcus just nodded. "Keanu Reeves, huh?" Jason smiled. "Yep, and he changed my life." The next time Keanu rolled up on his vintage Norton, both Jason and Marcus greeted him with respect. Like this video and subscribe this channel for more videos, and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video.